From former President Donald Trump's 4 criminal trials to Republican presidential primaries and the crisis in Middle East, 2024 promises to be a busy, if not chaotic, year both at home and abroad. CBS News reporters sat down with Face the Nation moderator and chief foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan to discuss her predictions for the big stories of 2024. Will Trump be excluded from the vote due to the 14th Amendment? Voters in other states are also trying to keep Trump off the ballot. CBS News chief legal affairs correspondent Jan Crawford said the court will be front and center in the presidential campaign. Now, the Colorado Supreme Court is sharply divided on this issue. 4-3, Crawford said. And that's a decision other state Supreme Courts have come to in saying that it doesn't qualify under this ruling they've seen differently. There's a lot problems with arguments that they've taken. They just kind of pass it by. And I don't think the Supreme Court is going to make that kind statement on matter. I mean, court some of the questions that would examine very closely if he were to address this issue. And I think they should address it. Are how Trump could be considered an insurrectionist if is not charged or convicted of insurrection. And how that section with 14th Amendment is specifically a former president or candidate. It begs the question whether it would apply to him as someone who is president. Crawford predicted the Supreme Court would weigh in on the Colorado decision. He said Colorado's highest court will not say Donald Trump is disqualified from the presidential race. Trump may choose a female candidate. CBS News convention correspondent Nikole predicts that Trump will choose a female candidate if he becomes the GOP nominee. If former President Trump becomes the Republican nominee, I predict he will choose a female candidate, Ion said. And there are a lot of women being talked about. Female lawmakers. Maybe Rep. Elise Stefanik, who came to Florida recently for a fundraiser and got a lot of attention. Of course, towards the end of the year, there are hearings on antisemitism in universities. And I think she's definitely one to watch. Was strong supporter of the former president. But there are also a number of other legislators. Whether Rep. Nancy Mace, for example. There's Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who Steve Bannon said in recent interview that the former president is woman. He claims that there are people who claim to be able to elect candidates. There's a high chance the Supreme Court will rule that Trump is not immune from investigation. Trump's lawyers argue that Trump will not face prosecution for any actions he took while in the Oval Office, including the 2020 presidential election and actions on January 6, 2021. This case is currently working its way through the federal court system. The Supreme Court declined to take up the issue immediately, but they likely will. Crawford predicted that